Hello and welcome to the third part of using Microsoft PowerPoint to create simulations. This is the point where we left our discussion in our last video. We had already drawn this diagram, but I want to insert a grid onto this page so as to be able to make the certain measurements to be very exact. And in order to do that, you'll go to this tab here, View, and then go to Grid Lines. Click on it, and you're going to fill the page with these squares. They are good because they help you to align certain points of your diagram. The second thing which I want to do is that I want to just view this page alone. So I'll come here, page width, just on the same view, page width. Just click on that so as to fill the whole page with just one canvas. Now we are at this point and we want to do certain things to this diagram. So we want to align certain edges to be along the grid. Like for example, when you look at this edge, it is along the grid. This edge is along the grid, and all that. But when you come here, this edge is not along the grid. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this shape and then right click on it in order to edit points. And once we are at that point, now I will shift this point onto this point here. The moment I do that, it immediately moves there. And this other one, I'll have to shift it there. This edge here is aligned to this other one here. So I've got to do the same to this edge. Shift it there. And of course, this one will have to shift down here. But you find that this one is aligned to this one. So this one has got to shift down. But let me finish with this diagram first so that I can start working on the other one. This one here, I'm going to move it to this corner there. And this one also moves somewhere here. Of course, let me increase the view. So I'm going to zoom in to about 200. I think that one will be enough. And this one, of course, I'll have to move it. Can I move it up or down? I think moving it up can be better. This one too moves up there. This one will have to move down. This one too will have to move here. That one would be a better position for it. This section here moves here, while this one remains where it is. When it comes to this point here, it has got to be aligned to this other one. That one is okay. This one will have to move this position here. And this one will have to be exactly at this corner there. And of course, now everything else is aligned properly. How about this window inside here? Is it in the right place? Let me move this point to that position there. This other one to this other position. And now it is along the grid. The importance of using the grid is to make sure that everything is aligned. This point, I think I can move it down here because I want it to be symmetrical. I want to have two spaces here and two spaces up there. This one is okay because I'm going to have a scale here and a scale inside there. Let me look at the fixed jaw. So I'm going to exit here I'm going to exit the points. I come to this diagram now. For the fixed jaw, again I'm going to insert edit points and align this point over to this one here. This one will remain where it is. Of course, this one will have to move that way, so it will have to occupy how many squares? This one will move there, and of course this one will move up. Yeah, it will move up to some point here. Reason being, you can see this other point is up there, and of course this one will have to move up here. The only thing is, let me see how wide this one is. This one occupies 5 squares. This one occupies 4. So I think I can move it here. And of course, this other one also should move somewhere around here to this corner. Let me see whether it is the same corner as this one. Yes, it is the same corner, but there is a edit point here. I think I need to remove this point there so that it goes to that edge. So that edge is aligned to this other edge. This is aligned to this. The width is 5 spaces, 5 spaces. This one is 1 space here, 1 space. And everything looks okay. Let me try to see whether, okay, first of all, I'm going to exit the edit points over here. And then I'll shift this. I'll move this now to the right. Just by using the arrow tabs on your keyboard, you can tap it like that. You want to align it, and you can see over here the width fits very well. You can also see here it fits. Let me move it all the way to the end, and you can see everything fits. And even at this point, they fit exactly. That is exactly what I want. You can see how the grid is helping us to do this. And you can get this grid from view and by checking this box here. So that's it about the grid. Now, I want to insert a scale onto the fixed jaw and onto the sliding jaw. The scale on the fixed jaw looks like the scale on a ruler, which is graduated in centimeters and millimeters. So I'm going to, I can draw it elsewhere or exactly on this page. It really does not matter. So let me draw it somewhere here at the bottom because it's going to fit exactly here. So in order to do that, I need a line to guide me. So I go to Insert, Shapes, grab one of the lines, come and paste it here. So I go to 200% zoom, and I've got my guideline here. I can get another straight line, just paste it there. Now this line here, let me make it a little bit thicker, you know, something like that. And then I can move it to a position of my choice. You know, somewhere around there. So this one will be the 0 centimeter mark. I copy that line and paste. Copy is Control C, and then V is to paste. I have an exact line there. We know that in 1 centimeter there are 10 millimeters, so I'm going to count 10 spaces to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that is 1 centimeter. Now let me see what I have here. And then get the same line, copy, paste, but this time I'm going to make this line to be a little bit shorter than the others, and a little bit let me see, this line, if I were to fit it here, will it be visible through this window? Unless I shift it upwards a bit. Yeah, it can be visible if I shift it upwards just slightly like that. So there is no problem, it will fit. But this one is going to be a little bit shorter, maybe up to that point. And I'm going to reduce its thickness, some thickness like that. And then I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to have 10 of them. So I'm going to copy these two, paste them. Then copy these 4. Paste them, and lastly copy this one and paste it here. So this will be 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 1 centimeter. So I'm going to repeat this process by copying the whole of this. And I move it to the right. Actually, I have 2 of these. So over here, I'm going to select one and delete one of them. And then repeat that process. I'd better select up to that point. Copy, paste. Move it to the right. Move it up, and you can see I can repeat that process several times. Just by copying and pasting that scale, I can quickly draw that scale very, very well. So this scale, remember, is going to fit on the fixed jaw. Let me repeat the process again. So this one is going to start right from there all the way up to the end. I think that is enough. So what I'm going to do is to copy the whole of that, select the whole of it, and then grab one corner and move it up here. And I have my scale. I can now erase this guideline or just leave it there. There's no harm. But you can see that it doesn't fit exactly onto the lines. So I'm going to use my tab keys there to make sure that it fits onto the grid. Remember, I've made the sliding jaw to be transparent, and that is why they can be seen from here. Otherwise, the scale on the sliding jaw is going to be a bit different. So let me get this guideline, slide it here. I want now to draw the vernier scale. So over here I've got part of the main scale. Let's assume this is the 0 centimeter mark. This is the 1 centimeter mark. And of course I've got 10 millimeters, between them. So there are 10 spaces. Now I want to draw a vernier scale just below here. A vernier scale has also 10 spaces, but those 10 spaces occupy a distance of 0.9 centimeters. Let me explain what I mean. This is 0. If we count from here, we'll move to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. So I'm going to have 10 spaces occupying a distance of 0.9 centimeters. Now, how is that possible? So first of all, I'm going to copy this scale and put it below here. For me to do that, I need to select all of them. For me to select everything, I have to move it to a point whereby the arrow appears. Not that shape, but this arrow here. And then I left click, hold, and drag until now it covers all the strokes there. First of all, I'm going to align them onto the grid properly. There, they're now aligned properly. And then copy and then paste. That one keeps on happening because of the large magnification that I'm using. So I'm going to shift it like that until it comes there, and then shift it downwards or move it downwards until it comes to a point there. And then now, while it is still selected, I'm going to group all these objects or all these shapes. To group them means that you can get several shapes, 2 or more shapes, select all of them, and then when you group them, it's like you merge them together so that they act like one object or one shape. How do we do that? The moment you select a shape, this Format tab is always automatically, it will be selected. But if it is not, you go to Format, then you go to the right, to this group of tabs here, click the arrow, and then you click Group. You can now see that there is only one selection, and now it allows me to manipulate all these shapes as if they were just one shape. So I want to make sure that, you know, the distance from this point all the way to this point is 1 centimeter. From here to here is 1 centimeter. Now from here to here is 0.9 centimeters. So I want these 10 spaces to occupy a distance of not 1 centimeter but 0.9 centimeters. How do I do that? I just get the right hand side there, left click, hold, and drag until it was here. Now it has come here. Notice that the 10 spaces here now occupy a distance of 0.9 centimeters. We know that from here to here is 1 centimeter. From here to here is 0.9 centimeters. Now I have 10 spaces occupy a distance of 0.9 centimeters. On the main scale, 10 spaces occupy a distance of 1 centimeter because each space is 1 millimeter. But over here, 10 spaces occupy a distance of 0.9 centimeters. And this is the vernier scale. Then I'm going to ungroup. Once I have ungrouped, I'm going to deselect the edges. So I put my cursor there until it turns into that double-headed arrow. Control, left click. I have deselected it and deselected that too. then the middle ones are still selected. So I'm going to shift them upwards until now they come to this surface here, just next to that surface. So I'm going to use the tab keys like that, and I've moved them to the right position. But I can see that this, I keep on losing it because, like I said, it's because of the high magnification, but that one is not a big problem because I can always use the scroll bars here to locate where it is. So I'm going to select this one and also shift it upward so that they are properly aligned. You can see this one is not aligned properly with these ones here. So again, select it, just a simple tap on the tab keys and it moves upwards. So I have my Vernier scale. This Vernier scale, I'm going to put it next to the main scale, like that. And now, again, let me go back. Now I have the main scale and I have the Vernier scale. And you can see on the main scale, from this point, this is 0, this is 1, this is 0, and this is 10. So I'm going to put those numbers here. I'm going to put 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But because the space may be so small, I'm just going to put 0 here and 10 here. So I'm going to insert a text box. Insert a text box. So I draw a text box there. And I put 0. And that's done. Then I can copy this text box. Copy, paste. Usually when you're using a canvas to draw, you find that when you copy and paste, sometimes whatever you're copying and pasting, if it is, for example, text, it jumps to the topmost part of the canvas. So always search for it and bring it where it is supposed to be. You can use the tab keys to do that, or hold onto it and drag it to the right position. Here you have it. So I want to make that to be 10. So let me increase the size of the box. And that one will go here. I think that one is a good position for it. There. So you've got 0 and 10. There's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the next thing is that I want to remove this outline. So first of all, I don't want to fill anything inside there. And I remove the outline. Then I do the same to this one here. You can see what I'm doing. I go to Format, Shape Fill. I say No Fill, Outline, No Outline. And the outline disappears. I don't know whether it is in the right position, but the moment I remove the grid, I can be able to position it properly. For example, just notice this. I can remove the grid lines, and then, while that one is still selected, I can use my tab keys to put it in the right position. Then I shift it upwards, just next there. Can do the same to the 0. Shift it exactly to that position. Move it upwards a bit. And it is in the right position. And while still everything is like that, I'm going to group this. Select like that. Select everything and then go to Format and then group it. Then of course I can go to view, put the grid back, and there I have my Vernier scale. Now this Vernier scale, I'm going to put it onto the sliding jaw. So let me zoom out. So I have my scale here. I'm going to grab it by one of the corners. So I move my arrow until there is that plus sign there. Click, hold, and drag it all the way to this point here. Let me put it there because now I want to zoom in so that we can look at this section. There is this part here. I don't know how that part came about. I don't think that one's supposed to be there. So let me delete it because it doesn't fit. I also don't need this one now. So I can just delete it. There was a guideline here that I was using. I also don't need it. Now I want to zoom in at this point. I always use very high magnification so that when you draw, when you're using very high magnifications, your diagrams are going to be very, very accurate in terms of symmetry. So let me look for the Vernier scale. It's somewhere here. You can see that it's very difficult to select it. That arrow does not appear. When you're confronted with this problem, what you do, you go to the nearest edge of the canvas. You can see until you can get that arrow. Let me go here. No selection. I go to that point and now I get a selection. Over here, if we were to click here, it is going to select one of the jaws. It will not select anything here. So I've got to know that my Vernier scale is up to this point. So I trace that until the arrows appears. Then I click, drag, hold it, and then I come like this. And I have it selected now. Then I can use these arrow keys on the keyboard and move it upwards until the two scales are just aligned. You can see that the 0 mark on the Vernier scale coincides with the 0 mark on the main scale, while the 10th mark on the Vernier scale coincides with the 0.9 centimeter mark on the main scale. That is exactly what you want. So you want to ensure that the 0 centimeter mark on the main scale coincides with the 0 mark on the Vernier. And you can see that when you use very high magnification, you ensure that the two coincide exactly. You can see it just appears as if it is just one line. But we know that this one starts from some point here, because I can tell because of these other marks the way they are here. We're going to remove that transparency on the sliding jaw, and you will see how that one happens. So I know the marks for this other scale, they start from some point here, and the marks for the Vernier scale, they start from this line here. But at this point, they coincide exactly that you can't even tell there is any difference. This is the advantage of using the grid. It helps you to align objects very, very well on the canvas. The 10th mark on the Vernier is going to coincide with the 0.9 centimeter mark. If I had made the thickness of this 10th division on the Vernier to have the same thickness as this, it will just appear as one line. Now the other divisions of course do not coincide, and this is expected because from here to here is 0.1 centimeter, but from here to here is 0.09 centimeters. So you can see that this length here is shorter than this one by a value which is 0.1 minus 0.09, which gives me 0.01 centimeters. that difference in the length of one division on the main scale and one division on the vernier, the difference between the two is referred to as the least count. Of course, for those who are watching this video and you're just interested in knowing how to do these drawings, this concept may not be so useful. So just ignore it if you can't be able to follow. But if you can be able to follow, then it will help you a lot. So you'll find that on the vernier scale, I've got 10 divisions, just like on the main scale. But the length of one division on the main scale is 0.1 centimeters, while the length of one division on the vernier is 0.09 centimeters. The difference between them is 0.01 centimeters, and it is referred to as the least count. Now, I want to fix this vernier scale onto the sliding jaw. So, I'm going to group this scale onto the sliding jaw. So, I've got to know how to select that. So, let me zoom out. And for this purpose, I think I'm going to remove the grid in order for me to be able to see things clearly. So, my sliding jaw is this one here. You can see. Selects up to that point, all the way up to this point. Oh, something else that I noticed. You can see that my labeling here, the 10 almost touches this. So why don't I move this line slightly this way? It is easier to do that than mess around with the scale that I already have. But you could equally be able to shift these divisions, to make them not so long. You can be able to do that, but it's easier to use edit points. I'm going to put edit points there, and I forgot to bring in my scale. I'm going to move this edit point here and move this one here. Move them exactly to the max. Why don't I increase the zoom so that I'm able to see what I'm doing properly? You can see that they were not exactly on those corners. So when I increase the zoom, I'm able to make them move to the exact points. I do likewise to this other point because of symmetry. There are 2 spaces here, and there are 3 spaces here, and that means, can I be able to shift this one here and this one here? No problem. Although I've lost that parallelism, this one and this one, they are no longer parallel, but I think that is not a big deal. What I can be able to do in order to make them to be parallel again is just to shift this one there. Again, they are not parallel, so let me shift it back. Like I said, it doesn't appear to be such a big deal. I appear to have lost something here. Let me undo. So I grab this, shift it to some point here, and this one, shift it here. Yeah, that's it. So there are 3 spaces, and below here there are also 3 spaces. So I have achieved that. I did that because these numbers 0 and 10 were falling outside the sliding jaw. So what I want to do next is now to group the vernier scale onto, that is to merge the sliding jaw onto the vernier scale. And I do that by selecting the 2 of them. So let me remove first of all the edit points. So I exit edit points. So I'm going to select And for me to do that, I think I need to zoom out. Of course, page width. I keep on forgetting that. So the sliding jaw is already selected. So the next thing is to select the vernier scale. So I'm going to come like this until I've got my arrow there. Click. Then slide it like that. I must be careful not to select anything else. And there we are. So I have the sliding jaw selected. Is it really selected? Let me move my cursor until I have it there. Yeah. Now I have the sliding jaw selected. Like you can see, there is this dotted outline here. I also have my vernier scale selected. Is it selected really? Let me see whether it is possible to select both of them by using the Control Shift. I move the arrow on the outside. Control Shift drag. It's not possible to do that. So this is what I will do. I will bring this arrow all the way to this point. Left click, drag, hold. Come like that. Like that. Down like that. Then release. The problem with that is that it's going to select also part of the main scale, and I don't want to do that. So what do? So first of all, let me merge the fixed jaw and the main scale. How do I do it? Is it possible to do this? See that? I've selected the main scale. I come here and also select. The moment I do that, I seem to deselect what is inside there. So this is a challenge, but I'm going to find a way around it. Let me select everything. Everything is selected here. So I'm going to deselect the vernier scale because it's already grouped. And I'm going to deselect the sliding jaw. It's right here. Now I have the fixed jaw and the main scale selected. I can group those two together. And you can see. Now I've been able to get it out of the way. Next, I'll come and select the sliding jaw and the vernier scale, and I group those two together. Group them. So there we have it. Now next, I'm going to bring in the transparency because I want this sliding jaw to be above the fixed jaw so that we are only able to see this other scale through this window and from outside here. So let me first of all select the sliding jaw, and then I'm going to fill it with any color. Let's say this color, for example. You can see it's already above. You can see now you can't be able to see this part of the main scale here. You can't see it. All that you can see is the sliding jaw and the vernier scale. Let me select this other one and give it the same color if I want. But if I give it the same color, it might not bring the effect that I want. Let me use a slightly different color, something like that. Okay, first of all, I do not want to include any formatting here. I just wanted to insert a color like that. That's much better, because now you can be able to see the fixed jaw, the main scale, the sliding jaw, and this scale here. But there is a bit of a problem with this proportionality here. I think I increased this distance so much at the expense of this. So what is it that I can be able to do? Let me see. View, zoom. Let me move back to 400. And I'm going to select the sliding jaw. The sliding jaw is already selected. I've got format, and then I'm going to ungroup so that I have the Vernier scale selected. Now I'm going to grab this, shift it through one division upwards like that. Actually, it tends to shift everything. So let me undo that. I'm going to deselect this one here so that I just remain with the Vernier scale selected. Grab that, move it through one division like that. Release. We seem to lose these numbers here. Let me try to shift them up, see whether they're going to be seen, or just increase the length of this box like this. Let the length of this other box like this, and it can be seen. And I think that one is a solution to that. It now means that on this one, I have to put back the edit points, not edit text, but edit points on this one. Move it through one space there, and this one moves on to the next corner there. When we are onto this one, I'm going to shift this one down onto that corner and this one onto that corner. I'm trying to bring back the proportionality. It appears as if that problem has been solved. So let me move back to 100%. And now it appears to be more or less proportional. So you can see that we are improving on our diagram. Let me exit these points. The next thing that I might want to do is to now improve on the coloring. Like for example, this one had already, I don't know how this one happened, because I appear to have used this section of formatting here, this section of formatting, which actually brings in very nice effects. Like for example, I can use that blue color there. You can see there's that bevel corner there. And I can do the same to the sliding jaw. There. And you can see that now our diagram takes a very nice shape. And this is exactly the diagram that I was using in the previous video. And you can see I've got a neat, other than the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there is 0. This is 0. then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other than those, everything else is exactly as we had seen it before. Now we are ready to do the animation for this section. In our next video, we are going to animate this diagram so that we can have the sliding jaw moving about.